What's going on, YouTube gamers? Bonfire here, and today I want to give you guys my hands-on impressions of the Xbox One Elite controller. I know the controller's been out for a few weeks now, but I wanted to make sure I had enough hands-on time with it to give some quality impressions, as well as there's this little game called Fallout 4 that came out recently, and it's kind of consumed my soul. So the first thing I want to go over is my setup for the Elite controller, because I think it's telling on what I like and dislike about it. Starting with the analog sticks, on the left one I have the normal sized standard concave Xbox One analog stick. I really like the concave analog sticks. I think that was an awesome feature in addition to the Xbox One controller. And then on the right analog stick, I've got the taller analog stick. You can see here the difference, and the reason why I use the taller one on just the right stick is because for the last 4 to 5 years I've had control freaks on all of my controllers and only on the right analog stick, because when I got my very first control freak, it was given to me by a friend who had just one. He used one and he was like, hey, I got this extra one, do you want it? It really helps out. Tried it out, haven't gone back. You can see on all my controllers I have a control freak on it, so I am just used to playing with a raised right analog stick. And then for the D-pad, I just used the standard D-pad that comes with the Elite controller. I really prefer this D-pad. It's nice, especially when you have to press in any of the directions. It just feels good, it clicks well, and I wish they would make all D-pads like this. However, when you're playing like platformers or side scrollers, I do prefer a standard D-pad. So it is nice that you have the option to switch with this controller. Next are the triggers, and the left trigger I just have the normal, you pull it back all the way, and I like this because when you're playing first person shooters, you can feel it, just gives a nice feel when you're pulling up the gun and you pull that left trigger. But on the right trigger here, I use the trigger stops because you can use this little button right there. There's a trigger stop where you can pull it down, and then the trigger does not go down all the way. It actually works and makes you shoot faster when you use like semi-auto weapons in first-person shooters. Works really well. However, I will say that on Halo, like Halo 5, when I was playing that with this controller and had the trigger stop activated, that I wasn't able to use charge weapons. When I would hold it down, since it's not pressed down all the way, it doesn't actually activate and let you charge up weapons. So that was kind of disappointing. I hope it's something they can patch in the future, but that's something definitely to keep note of. Last but certainly not least is the paddles, the biggest, most notable feature, and probably one of the primary reasons why you would purchase this controller. And if you'll notice here, I only have 2 of the 4 paddles, and that's my preference because I noticed when I had all 4 paddles, these fingers for these bottom 2 paddles, that when I would click down on either the left or right analog stick, I clench these 2 fingers, and I would actually be accidentally pressing these bottom 2 paddles depending on whatever, analog stick I'm pressing down. And I just decided, you know what, I don't want to deal with that. I'm just going to use the 2, and it works for me. Now that may not be the case for everyone, but for me, it just, the way it's set up, it was just easier just to get rid of them. Now, I also know I could set these 2 buttons to be those paddles and just use the paddles instead. I do have that option, but I wanted to keep it as comfortable and as familiar to me as possible because I've never played with paddled controllers, so this was the best setup for me with the paddles. Now, I will say the most disappointing thing, in my opinion, about the Xbox One Elite controller is that it takes AA batteries, just like every other Xbox controller. And I know there's arguments for and against having AA batteries instead of an internal battery, but I kind of like the internal batteries. I like the ease of it, the convenience of it, not having to buy batteries, even though I know you can buy returnable batteries, but just I like not having to worry about those types of things. And it's not a huge issue with this because it does come with this really nice cable, and you can just play wired. This is a really long cable. I want to say it's like 7 or 8 feet long, so you can always play wired. It's not a huge deal, but it's just a minor gripe. For such an expensive controller, I thought it would have been nice to come with an internal battery. I know they have those Energizer batteries, so it would have been cool to see Microsoft team up with Energizer to include a nice quality rechargeable battery from Energizer, because I know those work really well with the controller, but again, just a minor gripe. Now, one of the best features about the Xbox One Elite controller is the fact that you can completely customize it. Now, you can download on your Xbox One the accessories app, and you can plug in the controller to the Xbox One and completely remap the entire controller. You can remap the paddles, any of the buttons, and that is awesome. You can literally do whatever combination you want. You can actually save presets on your Xbox One. You can save 2 presets on the controller, and this little button right there in the center, you can switch between those 2 presets on the fly, which is a really nice feature. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Microsoft just announced that you can actually customize any Xbox One controller, which is a win for them. PlayStation, you need to get on this. This is big time. You need to do this. I think it's a feature that should just be standard, because a lot of people have different preferences, and people should be able to play however they want to play with the controller. On top of being able to remap the entire controller, you can actually customize the sensitivity of each individual analog stick, which I thought was really crazy. I played with it just a little bit, completely screwed up my aim, but I thought that was a nice feature as well. Overall, I really like this controller. It feels really good when you're holding it. It plays really well. And one of the things I was concerned about, because all the pieces literally are just magnetized, you can pull them off very easily. I was concerned that maybe when you're playing they might pop off or feel loose. That's not the case whatsoever. Even the paddles, which you can see I can move very easily, but it all just works really well. One of the nice things about the feel and build of this controller is it's got these nice, you can see the darker color, the gray, those are grips. It's got nice grip back there. Even this finish on the normal part of the controller even has a little grippy feel to it, and it's just a higher quality build than the standard Xbox One controller. And I really think controllers just need to adopt this. This grip is so nice. I really like that. Now, the biggest question with the controller is its price. This is a $150 controller, and the question is it worth the price? And I'm leaning towards no. The reason for that is this product is marketed towards a specific group of people. People not like myself, people who play first-person and third-person shooters competitively. They stick to a couple games, they play them very competitively, and that's their thing. That's what they do. This is for those types of people. However, if you're a casual player like myself and just play for fun, this might not be for you. That said, it's still a really nice controller, and if you can afford it, go for it. This is awesome. This is one of the best controllers I've ever used, and I really like it. But for the $150 price tag, I don't feel like it's worth it. Maybe at $100, I could justify $100, because like I said, you do get the cable, which is really nice, and you also get the travel case. It's hard, keeps it protected. You got all the other accessories that it comes with in there, but I just don't know about $150. And there you guys have it. That is my hands-on impressions of the Xbox One Elite controller. Let me know what you guys think about this bad boy. If you've picked it up, if you're using it, or if you're thinking about getting it, down in the comments below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And until next time, I'm Bonfire, and I will see you online. Hey guys, don't forget about Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter, and hit that button down below.